figure it out. I just figured there's something bigger than me. And, you know, I think there's just some things that we're not even capable of understanding. You know, like, for instance, the pyramids and, you know, a lot of the Aztecs did. And, you know, was there supernatural life forms, or, you know, where did they go? You know, are they still walking amongst us? And it's just a lot of weird shit to think about. North Kakalaki. I was right. Yeah, what do they say? Pull aside, stay alive, or some shit like that. And the other thing I love about Arizona is we have what's called a stupid motorist law. So flash floods, especially among take two, take three, let's go with take two. Anyway, in Arizona, there's a lot of flash floods around monsoon season because the rain can just out of nowhere. Yeah, what are they? Medical intervention type things, medicinal, whatever. I had apparently a few too many whiskey sours as I was enjoying my parents being in town, and they flow, boy. It's just like, 'cause I make them delicious. Like I put a little bit of maraschino cherry juice in there. I drop the chip. And bones, so many bones, good Lord. Beneath the cobblestone charm lies the catacombs. More than 200, I have heard of these. More than 200 miles of underground tunnels lined with the remains of over 6 million people.
Oh my.
Typo. This is the most goth interior decorating decision in recorded history. Originally used to store bones from overflowing cemeteries, the catacombs became it's called the turkey leg hut. Imagine that. But right here we got, first of all, swamp fries. So it's fries seasoned with homemade slow roasted pot roast drenched with gravy drippings, spicy jalapeno cheese, and the house special sauce.
That sounds amazing, minus the spicy cheese.
Yeah, it lost me at jalapeno, but the rest of it sounds really good.
Jerk chicken tacos with an extra kick. 3 grilled jerk chicken tacos topped with spicy mango pico de gallo, cheese, and jerk sauce. Served on a toasted flour tortilla. Let's get down to the actual legs here, because that's what they're... Okay, the famous turkey leg is slow smoked turkey leg prepared with our secret ingredients and seasoning.
We ended up giving him a little bit of CBD, and that seemed to calm him down, but he was just having these stomach spasms.
So he was like throwing up?
Yeah.
That is the
That is disgusting.
Especially the sounds like...
Yes! You're like, go outside! You know, you're trying to hunt them outside at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Not step on it or whatever. It's like, I don't understand what's going on.
And fortunately, I don't have that gag reflex. Like, Coletrane has a massive gag reflex. So if he sees it, he'll just... and
twisted, facts get sold. We cut through the noise, break the mold. Pop culture, scandals, history lost. We dig up the truth, no matter the cost. The Coletrane's leading, JJ's got the take. Shell drops the hammer, make no mistake. No script, no leash, no corporate chain. We wreck the rules and derail the game. This is Train Wreck D. Step up or stay out the way. You're either all in or you're just in the way.
All right. So far, we are glitch free, and watch it happen since I just said something. Welcome to Train Wrecked. This is the show about the weirdest shit you could possibly think of. We dive into history's weirdest corners, the stories that make you say, "What the hell was that? Did that really happen?" And we're into the weird. And again, this is the show where we just have fun. We just want to blow some steam off for Hump Day, which is my favorite day. But tonight, I do first have to address Janae is feeling under the weather. She's okay. Just little medicine reaction. Hey, John, how you doing, man? So yeah, she'll be back, but it's one of those things. It's a few hours, so she'll be up and ready tomorrow, hopefully. Yes, it is. I'm sure he wants me to say it. It's time to hop on the Coletrane. All right, didn't know I have those kind of pipes, did you?
It was pretty good.
Again, I am your host, Coletrane, and to my, let's see on the screen, it is to my left is Shell.
Hello
to the lovely peoples. No, I guess you already did, huh? He jumped ahead of me. Tonight, we are going to be talking about, we were going to talk about Three Tales, but when Janae called in sick, she said, please save the one for me when I come on, hopefully tomorrow. And then that way we can just record that part and put it out as like a little part 2 extra bonus or something like that. So we will not be learning about the, God, I forgot his name already. The man from
Nantucket. No, I'm just kidding.
No, see that it messed me up because I had things in order. It was like literally right before we went on air.
The mystery man.
Taured, the man from Taured, who, if you remember, was the guy who showed up with a passport from a country that doesn't exist. Sounds like he didn't exist because he disappeared, and we don't know if it's urban legend, if it really happened. See what you did, JJ. Bob came here to learn about the man, but instead he's going to learn about the history of the Academy Awards, the bizarre history, and we're also going to learn about them people that danced themselves to death back in 1518. Why the hell they did that, I don't know. I really just kind of breezed over this shit. So hey, what's going on, Billy boy? What's going on, Bobby? So anyway, I mean, you know how my week, we usually go through this with JJ. You know how my week is gone. Tell the people the kind of week you've had so far. Mine has been filled with realizing that I probably physically cannot sleep 8 hours a night. I get 4, according to my watch, 5 the most. And I wake up feeling like, oh yeah, I went ahead and got 9 hours of sleep. And I try to do the math to justify it, but my watch don't lie, And then I started remembering, like, I guess I was watching a little TV at that time. There I did wake up or whatever. But anyway, so tell us how yours has been going thus far. Better than mine, I'm sure.
You're asking about mine?
Yeah.
It was busy as hell. But
yeah.
I am different than you, where I do need more than just 5 hours of sleep every night. I don't function so well around 7.
Yeah, it has to be that magic number 8, or else it's just meh.
Can you hear feedback, or is it just me?
What's that?
Can you hear any feedback, or is it just me?
It's just you, but you sound a little glitchy. Maybe pull your. Okay, out there, do we sound glitchy, or is it just her and her raggedy ass computer and microphone? Even though it's new, but everything's coming out fine for me. The ghost is asking Billy when he's going to visit Bobby. for his vacation in Dallas. Yeah, see, Billy said it's just you. And he says, shut up. Ghost said you did sound a little glitchy for a second. So it is you. It is you. Hopefully JJ's watching. If you are JJ, pop in here. But John said you sound glitchy. So why don't you go ahead and pull your mic cord out and slam it back in and unmute yourself whilst I go over show reminders. If you want to get in touch with any of us, I was going to have JJ do her own shit, but, I didn't memorize hers. But anyway, for my Instagram, it is Instagram.com/Jaded_Coletrane. And please remember Coletrane is spelled COLETRANE, like a drive train, not like a choo-choo train. Although it's a play on words, it's not a choo-choo train. Okay. For the Trainwrecked Instagram, it is Trainwreck_D. Trainwreck_D. Again, like a drive train, not a choo-choo train. If you go to Facebook, look for us at Jaded Zen Entertainment. Easy enough. If you are watching us on Facebook, go ahead and switch over to YouTube whenever you want to. It's youtube.com/@JadedZen. You will see a red square on the lower right-hand corner that says subscribe. All you got to do is hover over that, click the button, boom, you're subscribed. If you're already subscribed, look at the bottom of your screen. It should say subscribe. Duh. If it just says subscribe, go ahead and hit that. But if you're already subscribed, don't hit it again because it will unsubscribe you. Again, it's happened. I've seen the number go up and down one like every day. And it's, I'll see somebody that was already a member become a new member. Let's see. Billy loves trains. He used to work for Amtrak. Hey, did you, how long ago was that, Billy? And did you get laid off a lot? Because I had a lot of uncles that worked for the railroad, and it seemed like they were getting laid off like every other month. And then they had to get little part-time jobs and they come back. It's just a fucked up way to live. Also remember our other show on Fridays. It is pre-taped. This coming Friday is the part 2 of our last week's show about depression. So JJ will be on that one magically. And again, we have already got it loaded. So I promise on Friday morning, it will be available. And it's actually at 4 a.m. Pacific, screwed up already, and 7 a.m. New York time. So by the time the New Yorkers are getting up and getting ready to hit their shift at the construction sites or whatever, they can listen to a little bit of serious talk because that's what everybody wants, right?
Sound better now?
What's that?
Do I sound better now?
I don't know, audience. Does she sound better now? Put Bob's comment up there. Are you in the comments? I don't think you are.
I was busy.
Okay, the one above that. There you go. Also hit the down arrow next to subscribe and choose all to get the notifications for the show. Thank you, Bobby, because I keep forgetting about that shit. Because a lot of people ring the bell or whatever, and then they claim that they don't get the message. And I believe them because a lot of the shows that I subscribe to, I don't get the message. So I don't know what the hell that's all about. And like he said, like, share, comment. If it's a negative comment, tell me why. You can't just say you suck. Tell me why I suck and what I can do to make it better. But yeah, just comment, like, share, tell your friends about it, tell your uncles, tell your cousins, even people you don't like, just tell them about it because, maybe that's the problem. Maybe they need some entertainment. That's why they're assholes.
Exactly.
Anyway, so remember this Friday, we will be on YouTube. That is the actual link there. I know you can't copy and paste it, but I'll leave it up there for a few minutes if you want to scribble it down. Otherwise, all you have to do is go to live. Yeah. Oh, all you have to do is go to the live section.
A moment. God dang it.
Okay. Take 2.
No more touchy.
All you have to do is go to our show page and go to actually it's not live. It'll be a set premiere. So if you subscribe, it'll give you the notification warning and all that. Like Bob said, the default is personalized, which only gives you some notifications. Let's see. Billy got 15 likes on your show. You know what, man? I haven't finished it, but I did start it. Your last show, so I'm gonna try to finish it up tonight. I've been just every free moment I've had, I've been out in the backyard working on a project that I'll show pictures next week, but it was huge. And every time I thought I was done, either Mother Nature or architecture itself said, no, there's still a few things we got to get done. Oftentimes it was architecture, but sometimes Mother Nature was just a bitch. Just how she is. So let's get right into the topic. We're going to start with the most boring one because I actually was going to consider leaving this one off because I wanted to spend so much time on the Mystery Man and the dancing folks, but here we are.
You got a filler.
So, of course, the Oscars. Take two again, goddammit. Oscars are all about the glitz and glamour and golden statues and pretty people with the boobs hanging out and stuff like that. But there's also been a lot of chaos and scandal. A lot of you people are old enough to remember some of these things. I don't think all of them, because I don't think we reached that age range. But let's go back and look at some of these weird moments that's happened. In 1974, David Niven, the legendary British actor, who I've never heard of, is on stage presenting. Suddenly, a naked man runs behind him, flashing a peace sign to millions. The streaker, Robert Opel, was an activist. No shit. Niven didn't miss a beat. Isn't it fascinating to think that the probably only laugh that man ever get in his life is stripping and showing his shortcomings? That was... But you know what? That's the funny thing, too. It's never the people that should be proud of their bodies that's, streaking. It's usually the ones that are about 50 pounds past their playing weight, or the dudes that look like it's like a sparrow poking out of an eagle's nest. 2017. I don't think I've watched the Oscars since I was 20. It's just one of those things I can't sit through. Like I'll flip back and forth to see who the best actor and actress is, and then that's about it. Maybe best picture. But, I've been over it for about 30 years now. 2017, you probably remember this one.
Did you want me to show the streaker video? You
have it?
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
Sure.
Let me see if I can get this to work properly.
Should we end the show?
What was that?
Don't accidentally end the show.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, we are running into some technical difficulties while she tries to figure out how to do this. Bob, I'm the same way. I don't watch the Oscars either because I've never seen half the movies that win the shit. It's always the blockbusters that, they may get nominated, but it's always some artsy film from Europe that's in black and white that has like one major star that you kind of know his name, and the rest of the people are like, who the fuck is that? But that's usually best picture, best director, best actor, all that kind of stuff. It's all political anyway.
Okay, never mind. Let's just move on because this thing.
You got the people you done blue balled the people.
Well, hold on. I will try again, but this thing doesn't want to work properly. It keeps asking me to open my system settings to do something.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll pop some of these comments up because you done blue balled everybody. They walking around stiff. Like Bob doesn't watch the Oscars, neither do I. John says it's all about what production company spends the most money to get the awards, or what kind of favors are being passed back and forth, if you know what I'm saying. So while she's looking that up, as I was saying, you probably remember this one. I don't. La La Land is announced as Best Picture. The cast gives emotional speeches, but then, turns out someone handed the presenters the wrong envelope, and the real winner was Moonlight. I don't remember that movie. I remember La La Land being a movie. I don't remember Moonlight. I remember Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd and Bruno.
Okay, here it is. Finally.
All right, let's do it. David Niven and the Naked Feller.
I think that's the first time there's been a double, isn't it? A best supporting actor and then the best leading one. If one reads the newspapers or listens to the news, it is quite obvious that the whole world is having a nervous breakdown. In the motion picture industry, we do not, thank God, contribute to the shambles by manufacturing tanks, flamethrowers, or rockets. We do something to try and help keep people sane. We turn out entertainment. The award for the best picture is never lightly given. And now, to divulge the contents of this year's most important envelope is a very important contributor to world entertainment, and someone quite likely
All right. That's probably good.
Oh, you didn't get to the punchline. They all started playing the music and everything.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was almost bound to happen. But isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh that man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings.
All right, that's good.
If I might continue with the introduction.
Go ahead and cut it.
Yeah.
You're all mesmerized.
I know. Because I didn't know when it was going to stop. I can't move my mind over.
How'd you like to be that dude? Like you thought you did something and you get backstage and you hear that. Like,
right.
all you can do is look down and then just feel shame. Although some people have proudly pulled that little bad boy out, them little door stops. Oh, 1969, vintage year. A tie for Best Actress. Katharine Hepburn and Barbara Streisand. Ooh, God, can you imagine them two bitches in the same room arguing? The only tie in Oscar history. Think about it. The Academy couldn't decide, so they just handed out two. They probably didn't want to deal with the most. 2022, I don't even have to mention what happened. Can you take a guess?
Yeah.
So why mention it? But this one is the one that actually tipped us off as to what kind of guy John Wayne actually was. What did he say? I think he was thinking he was something else until he got told. 1973, Marlon Brando wins Best Actor for The Godfather, but he refuses the Oscar. Instead, he sends Sachin Littlefeather, a Native American activist, to decline the award and protest Hollywood's portrayal of indigenous people, because they usually had a bunch of Asians and Mexicans and dark white people playing Indians. She gets booed. John Wayne allegedly had to be restrained backstage. That allegedly turned out to be true, because I looked deeper into that story, and he was so pissed that this Indian dare, ruin the sanctity of the Oscars and this great American heritage, that he was going to go out there and whoop her ass.
Oh my God.
And anybody that's ever seen that video of her, she's just a little bitty thing. So yeah. the Oscars have been staged for protest, political grandstanding, accidental exposures, and a few flat out conspiracies. People say the system is broken. That's less about best and more about, who's got the cashola. Oh yeah, John, I have a bunch of stories too. As a matter of fact, it's going to be weeks from now, but we're going to bust a whole lot of childhood dreams, unfortunately for some of you. We're going to go through some of the most racist people in Hollywood that you thought were really, really nice guys.
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing that up. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 weeks before we put that one on, but because literally there's so many, I have to narrow them down. And I wish that was a joke.
I know.
Dead serious here. So any of you out there have any Oscar memories, or what movie should have won, or what actor should have won that got hosed? And what do you remember that one that you're like, what the hell? Because that movie was the shits. And while you guys are thinking about that, again, remember every Friday, our second show, and it does have a new name. It is called Conversations with Coletrane and Crew. Trainwreck 2 was just a placeholder until I could think of something. And just this morning, I thought of something. And matter of fact, I don't know if I have it loaded in this stage or not, because those of you who know anything about StreamYard, they now have new studios. So, each show has its own studio. Each studio has its own video library. And yeah, no, I don't have the opener here, but I'll have that next week, because the show for Friday is already loaded. It was technically last week, so I didn't have time to get all that editing done and all that kind of stuff without, driving myself crazy and probably drinking. So anyway, every Friday morning, Conversations with Coletrane and Crew at 4 a.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. Eastern, and that's not a live show. It's pre-recorded, so you don't have to wake up at that time. That's just what time it drops. So anytime on Friday and here on, you can go ahead and just access that. It will be on the it should be in the regular sets, because I was putting it on the Trainwrecked, the podcast set, but I think that would confuse people. So it will have its own set after we get a few more shows in there. So it'll be easy to find. But Conversations with Coletrane, aka Trainwrecked 2. And next week's show on that, actually, the Friday show, will be The Power of Saying No. So you will want to tune into that, because a lot of us have that issue. And, sometimes you can, that's the best way to say it, you can shy yourself to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the simplest way to put it. Next week on this show, live every Wednesday, Hear No Evil, but Feel Everything. It's going to be the hum that only some can hear, and it's driving them mad. So apparently there's a population where they're just hearing this low, where others aren't, and it's making people go crazy. And then we're going to look into, what are these twins called? They're creepy twins. I thought I had their name. Anyway,
creepy twins.
Tagline, well, they're creepy, yeah. The tagline is, did they come back after a fatal crash? Were they born again? Is it just coincidence, reincarnation, or just a creepy story? So we're going to look into that. Apparently, there's 2 twin girls that got killed in a car accident, and they showed up elsewhere. So we'll get into that next week. So hopefully that wets your whistle. And of course, I'll put out some advertisements for that. But see, Billy says Ghostbusters. That was what, 1984, 85? No means yes to some people. Unfortunately, that's true.
Yep.
And if you're one of those people, stop that shit right now.
Right.
So people are pretty quiet tonight, huh?
Yeah.
It's too bad JJ can't experience all these crickets chirping. Really, I know a lot of people did want to hear about the dude from Taured, but it's kind of good to leave people wanting more. So let's switch over to the dancing folk. So This is 1518. I probably said 1815 with my dyslexic ass, but it is 1518. So picture this. It's actually Strasbourg, France. So the year 1518, the Renaissance is blooming, plague is lurking. So good times apparently. And out of nowhere, an ordinary woman named Fran Tofea steps into the street and just starts dancing. No music, no crowd, no TikTok, none of that shit. Just raw, unsolicited, choreographed dancing. Probably like that dude on Alfred Hitchcock. Remember, he hit the jukebox and just started flapping his hands.
Oh my God, yes. Well, hopefully she didn't go that crazy.
They died from doing the Macarena. Possibly, we'll find out. And she didn't stop. So not after an hour, not after a night, not even after 3 nights, she dances for 6 straight days. No naps, no snacks, no water breaks, no besties, no saying kiss my ass, no sex, nothing. So that, first of all, I can't stand up for 3 days straight. You know, so to dance that long, good Lord. Let's see. And you know what's really wild is people started joining her. No, you didn't miss it, CM. Nope. We haven't done it because JJ is actually sick. So we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna record it tomorrow or do like a a pop-up live show, but either way, by tomorrow we'll know the answer to that madness. But anyway, people started joining her, and not to cheer her on, but they just started dancing too. So within a week, dozens of people are caught up in this. Like, everybody's just dancing in the streets. So is it a plague? Is it a party? Are they possessed? At its peak, around 400 people were dancing through the streets of Strasbourg. And that's not a typo, 400 people.
Good Lord.
That's probably, if not the whole town, is a good portion. People danced until their feet bled. People danced until their bodies gave out. People literally dropped dead from exhaustions, heart attacks, and strokes.
Good God.
It wasn't even a nightclub. It was it was just a medieval cardio death is basically what it is. Like, just run on the treadmill till you die. But the authorities themselves, the city council, they didn't shut it down. They didn't call a doctor. They didn't issue any kind of cease and desist. They built a stage. They hired musicians. They actually thought more music would cure the problem. Or, you know, like when you're fat, you just keep eating more because then
yeah, that's gonna cure it.
So, you know, it's kind of like, to me, it's like somebody getting alcohol poisoning and saying, hey, here's some whiskey.
Yeah.
So here's some of the theories. Theory 1 is mass hysteria. So now called mass psychogenic illness. This is what happens when a group of people experience similar physical symptoms without any clear medical cause, usually triggered by stress, fear, or trauma. Now, medieval times, you know, they had some weird ass tortures and
they did
ass kings and shit like that. So I guess I'd be stressed out too. Gotta wait for Robin Hood. You don't know if he's gonna show up on time. Let's see, but remember, this was post-plague Europe. Famine, disease, religious pressure. Life was a nightmare. Your average villager was one bad harvest away from losing it. A woman dancing uncontrollably might have been the spark that lit the psychological wildfire. So possibly group stress, group trauma, just group dancing, but still a mystery. Theory number 2, ergot poisoning, which I'd never heard of ergot, but apparently it's fungus. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye, which not only bread, but a lot of people like the rye whiskey as well.
Oh, yeah.
Eaten unknowingly through bread or whiskey, it's not just any fungus, it's LSD's great grandfather. So
there you go.
Food, hallucinations, muscle spasms, convulsions, fits. Basically, it's a medieval bakery that dropped acid in your stomach. So I guess you'd be vibing pretty hard too, huh? But here's the kicker. Ergot poisoning usually causes twitches and seizures, not full-on coordinated street choreography. So it's possible, but it feels a little too tighty.
Yeah.
The third, which is one I possibly believe in, religious ecstasy or penance. You ever see those dudes on the those faith healer shows, and you know they walk up there and dude puts his hand on their forehead,
Oh yeah.
drop dead, then they get up and start dancing and flailing and talking in tongues and spitting and shit. That's what I'm thinking this is all about. So back then, back then, religion wasn't a Sunday thing. It was your entire worldview. Can you imagine that shit, like the Calvinists and all that back in Salem, the witch shit? If something weird happened, chances are people blamed it on a saint or God himself. Enter Saint Vitus, the patron saint of epilepsy, dancing, and basically all things twitchy.
Oh my.
Some believe the dancers were under his curse, and the only way to purge the possession was to keep dancing. Honestly, if I ever get cursed, I'd prefer a nap-based solution. It's I didn't even read that. Now you're weirder than this. This wasn't the only time. It wasn't an isolated incident. There were similar outbreaks of dancing mania across Europe between the 14th and 17th centuries, including Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, Dutch folks. People just started breaking into spontaneous dances, often deadly, often causing heart attacks, and people waking up dead in the morning.
Dead in the morning.
Sometimes hundreds at a time.
Damn.
One group even danced on a bridge until it collapsed into a river.
Oh shit.
Some historians think these outbreaks were connected to the festivals honoring saints, even pagan traditions clashing with Christianity. The line between worship and madness was pretty blurry back then.
That's
my ass.
Right.
So what actually happened?
I am leaning towards what you said. It makes a lot more sense than the other ones. However, the rye, that sounds really interesting.
The poisoning.
Yeah, the rye poisoning.
Yeah, that was I was joking about the religious thing because although half joking, because these people really believe that shit. Right. These are the same people that when it got dark at night, they were afraid the sun might not come back tomorrow.
Exactly.
So,
they it's amazing what a little bit of science does for you.
Yeah, science. Not the kid that was failing science class and then all of a sudden he's an expert at the shit. Corner of my eye, I see some comments popping up. So what did they say? Let's see what their things are. Someone played a prank. That's a hell of a prank, man. Right. To get hundreds. They dance in a boogie shoes, possibly. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. So, spoiler alert. We still don't know.
Wow. All these
Eventually, the dancing stopped. No one recorded how or why. Maybe they all collapsed. Maybe the authorities wised up and told everyone to sit down and hydrate. Or maybe they just got bored. But go ahead.
I was going to say, so it started spontaneously and it just stopped spontaneously, or were there enough people that died that others are like, okay, I'm out?
I think it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
I think, some people just didn't feel the rhythm anymore. The rhythm was going to get them and got them. Didn't get them good enough.
Well, it's interesting that it only happened in the European countries.
Yeah. Because them fools is crazy over there.
Yeah.
All that, your skin done lightened up and you got all that sun exposure and shit. It might be vitamin D overdose. I don't know.
Yeah.
So some theories are the mind is powerful, more than we realize. Because under enough under enough stress, it can make entire crowds lose control. Because you see a sporting event, soccer, for instance. How many times you hear about people getting killed because the soccer game didn't go quite the way the fans wanted it, and then they started storming the field and tearing the stadium down and to imagine being trampled to death.
Oh my
by
God.
humans. You know, I can imagine like buffalo and stuff like that. It's going to be over pretty quick. But to have a bunch of like 160 to 300-pound people of various sizes and weights just stepping all over you, and some people actually got crushed, like, you know, pushing up against the gate.
Yeah.
And when the entire crowd, you know, it's just, I imagine it being like a Play-Doh dispenser. That'd be so gross.
Ugh.
But yeah, I will tell you, the mind is super powerful because, you know, people will always bitch or, you know, yuck someone's yum about placebo. But the thing is, it works because, you know, and there was this one guy I worked at Vitamin World a long, long time ago. And this kid was taking L-arginine, which is a vasodilator, which means it helps your veins expand. The amount this kid was taking wasn't doing shit, but it was helping him. This dickhead had the nerve to tell him that it takes like 2 grams instead of like, you know, 20 milligrams, and just burst his whole bubble. But I told him, I was like, well, it's obviously working for him because he believed it worked.
Right.
You just fucked that all up.
So,
you know, don't be a dickhead. Don't yuck someone's yum. If something is working for them, just shut the fuck up and get out of their way.
Well, yeah.
Anything in life, just mind your own fucking business.
Well, I'm sure it's probably because he wanted him to buy more, which is the other disgusting
No,
thing.
this was another customer.
Oh, it was another customer.
Yeah,
okay.
just another dickhead who wasn't even in the conversation. But
Nice.
yeah. And this kid was like 19, you know, something like that. This dickhead was in his 40s. So, you know, small dick energy.
Yep.
Here's something else that they believe, and it's very believable because we're seeing it right now. Cultural pressure matters. Whether religious, social, psychological, people will perform impossible things just to survive or feel connected.
Yep.
There's a lot of people today that are doing a whole bunch of shit that they swore to God they would never, ever in their lives do because society's changed. The way you get treated has changed. You can't say certain shit that used to be considered friendly.
Right.
You know, I'm not into the whole, you can't tell ladies they're not beautiful anymore. It's in how you do it. And if they get offended, fuck them. You know, it's like, I'm not going to be the person that stops complimenting people because 1 or 2 people might be offended by it. If you're offended, then kiss my ass, you know?
Right.
But, you know, there's just so many rule changes that people are just going along with because of the social pressures. Be like me. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know how much hate I get sometimes, you know, and it's just like, and I look at their picture and I look at their situation and I'm like, you took the time to address me.
Right.
What the fuck are you? Like, I ain't nobody. You know? So, but lastly, history is just weird. Humans are weird. And sometimes the past throws curveballs that just make no goddamn sense at all.
Yep.
Especially religious stuff. Some of the things you will read about, you know, the Crusades and things that people believed and killed each other over is just insane. And it's so frustrating that it's just based on a belief, not actual proof, not something that you saw with your own eyes, but something that later on could possibly be explained through science. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't want to actually, you know, deal with reality because reality sucks to them. So, you know, it's easier to have like a fantasy in your head of like there's something better, you know, and I hope there is. But, you know, some of you people that are all dogmatic about it, like if it's so good, then why do you spend so much time down here being such an asshole? Because I notice my favorite people are my atheist friends. Like, because they feel like this is it. Like, you got to make this shit count because, you know, it's lights out after that. I'm one of those that I hope reincarnation is a thing because, you know, I'd like to be a bird or something like that. So yeah, it's kind of thrown a wrench that I can't ease into this other story. So that's why things have been a little choppy and weird. Not JJ's fault. You know, it's just we get sick, but she really wanted to do that story, and you know, if I can make her life a little bit better, why the hell not, right?
Right.
So, but I think she's been preparing all week for that particular story because she's one of those murder mystery types.
Mhm. Yep.
And that's a lot of the reason I started going with this format, because I know people like to goof around and stuff, but a lot of people like things that just make your mind kind of wonder, what the fuck was that? Could that possibly
Right.
happen? Well, it's fun to be scared as long as it's not like terrified.
Right.
I like a movie that can actually get a reaction out of me, because anymore I'm not I'm not easily scared anymore.
Yeah.
I've just seen so much. Billy, you are correct. We do need more
Yes, you
people
are
in this
so
world.
correct.
And if people could just look beyond, whatever differences you have, or the fact that somebody doesn't look like you or your crew,
Mm.
or
Yes.
necessarily speak like you or your crew. My people are so eclectic from every part of the world, and it's not something that I'm being braggadocious about. It's just something that I'm drawn to different people. Like, I'm not
Mm.
drawn to people who are exactly like me, because I would get on my own fucking nerves. I know I'm hard headed. I know that when I want something done, I need it done. But that's part of trying to be successful. But I like other people who can tell me you fucked up. As long as you can tell me in a way that I can actually understand, you're not just like, oh, that fucking sucks,
Mm.
because you're not helping me. But if you're like, hey, clean this up and, crisp
Constructive
this up a little
criticism.
bit.
Mm.
Yeah, constructive criticism is cool. But like, a lot of people with other shows, and luckily I haven't really had any real haters. Um, I get hated by association with the other show, which is cool with me, because I'm, kind of a natural heel. And, I enjoy getting a reaction. And sometimes, even if it's a negative reaction, it's a reaction.
Yep.
But at the same time, see how sometimes that southern slips out just a little bit. At the same time, it's cool being liked too. But I like being liked by the people who I want to like me, if that makes any sense. You make your own family, and I've made my own family, and I am satisfied with all the people in it. So if you're in it, consider yourself lucky, because I, keep your shirt off my back. Let's see, when reincarnation be buzzed by the amount of people. Not necessarily, because maybe a goat did something good and they came back as a human. So you can go both ways,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Maybe a dung beetle did right and moved up to like a mongoose.
Move up a
And
class.
the mongoose became like a gorilla. And then the gorilla that beat those 100 motherfuckers like died of a heart attack and became Brock Lesnar. It's just never know. Billy likes when people tells them the truth. Don't we all, man?
Yes.
And that's the thing, is I prefer my friends and anybody, I prefer you tell me the truth, even if it hurts a little bit, than to try to keep up a lie. Because the one thing that a lot of my friends know about me is I'm extremely empathic and not empathetic. I mean, I am, but those are two different things. Empathic, meaning I can feel shit. So if you are deceptive in the slightest way, I start picking up on it real quick, because I can hear the slight tremble. I can see the twitch. There's just things I pick up on that a lot of people don't. And once I pick up on something, I lose my trust for you, and I'm not really listening to you anymore. I'm watching you.
Mhm.
And, and that's, it's a shame that even has to be a skill, but like House said, everybody lies. And it's true. The truth is a show by itself. It is, man.
Yep.
It is. The truth will set you free.
Whether you like it or not.
Oh man. And it's true, because one of those things that I always had a problem with is if someone was lying about me or something like that. It's like you had to right the wrong. You need to get justice for it. And now that I am, in my 40s, late 40s at that, I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. But since I've hit this age, you learn to let shit play itself out. And I've learned that if you believe what somebody told you about me without actually checking it out, then y'all motherfuckers deserve each other. 'Cause there was, I won't mention her name, but you remember there was a girl I went to high school with that, I mean, I went through, it wasn't elementary, but junior high through high school. And she got pregnant in high school and had a baby. And somebody told her that I said it was mine. Why the fuck would I do that? Number one.
Right.
17, 18 or so. Yeah, that's exactly what I want us to
Why
claim.
would you want to claim somebody else's child?
You know, number two, we had never been together. So why she would even believe I said that, I don't know. And the thing was, a couple of times I tried to ask her, like, what the hell's wrong? I had to find out through people this is what happened. 25 fucking years later, she realizes the truth.
Good God.
Yeah, and the truth was actually
going directly
worse
to the person to get it all cleared up.
One would think, but the truth was actually worse than fiction. As it turns out, it was a stepdad situation. Yeah, and actually that child she's probably in her 20s now, but has the mental capacity of a 9-year-old who also had a baby. And the worst part was the birth mother, who was with the stepfather, didn't believe her daughter.
That is disgusting. That's so sad.
It is. There is nothing like that would make me believe something over my child.
Right.
You know, because I mean, that's just my first, and we've talked about this before. I don't understand the non-parent gene or whatever, because it seems like any mammal, when you produce a child, there should be that instinctive, protective personality. And worst is mostly women that I've met that are like this, where they allow their kids to just, go off into the system, or let this raggedy ass man take care of them, who is passing it off to grandma, who's his mom, by the way. Calls his grandmama mama and his mama Pam, Oh man, we've ventured way off, but we got at least 2 stories in.
Yes,
so I guess just pay attention. So either go to my Instagram, which is Jaded_Coletrane, or you can go to the easiest place is probably the Jaded Zen Entertainment on Facebook, or just come back here to YouTube, which is youtube.com/@JadedZen. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you do hit like. Make sure you do comment. And make sure you share with all your friends, enemies, and your weird cousins. Because we could use all the views we could handle. And, I'd like to get back into the double digits and triple digits someday, because we have fallen off after a while. Yeah. But we still have fun doing it. For you people that do show up, you show up every week, and I really appreciate that shit. Billy, Gonzo, John's always up here. Bobby Bangs, appreciate you. Christy. And there's some people hiding because there was more. There were more earlier. Some people are actually shy, like we can see their faces or something like that. But anyway, remember next.
Called out.
Was that?
I said, don't show yourself. You might get called out. Oh, the ghost.
Well, like on Kenny's show, they be quiet in the motherfucker as soon as he starts talking about donations.
Right? I know.
Dry right up. Because if somebody comments like, hey, did you make a donation? So, yeah. But yeah, they'll crawl right back into those bushes like Homer. Just
right. Just slink back.
So remember, next week, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday night. Hear no evil, feel everything. We're going to be talking about the hum that only some can hear, and it's driving these people mad. And the twins, were they born again? Were they doppelgangers? Were they duplicates? Was this real? Was it reincarnation? We're going to find out. Possibly a creepy coincidence. I bet it was reincarnation. Anytime there's like kids or twins or some shit like that in a scary movie, that scaries it up real big time.
Oh yeah.
There's something about creepy kids that I don't.
Yep. The Shining.
Yeah. The twins. Duh.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, we're live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Arizona time. Remember, Friday every morning at 4 a.m. Pacific and 7 a.m. Eastern, conversations with Coletrane and crew. It's an offshoot of this, but we talk about more serious subjects, mental health, what's going on in the world today. It will be part 2 of last week's episode this Friday. Next Friday, we'll be talking about the power of no, which I would tell you to tell everybody to watch that show because a lot of us need that. There's times where we yes ourselves into situations that we really shouldn't be in when all it would have took is the guts to just say no that one damn time, right? So anything you want to kick in while we're at it before we kick out of here?
No, I guess the only thing that's going on that's coming up is our daughter's birthday is on Sunday, and Memorial Day is coming up.
Baby is going to be 17.
Yes.
And a senior.
Yes.
My tiny little infant female baby girl daughter.
Eesh.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Not ready.
Got a boyfriend and shit. I like him, but I just don't like the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna be a senior, which means she's gonna be. Hey, we're gonna be empty nester. No, we ain't.
No,
we're gonna be here till they're 26. Thank you, Christy. We will let her know that. Also, remember Memorial Day is this Monday. Yep. So remember, it's not barbecue day. It is a day to remember those who have fallen, and then you can eat your barbecue. Yes. But make sure you're restful. Make sure you spend time with your family because time is fleeting. I tell you, every time I go to Nebraska, when I leave, time stands still. When I come back, time has fast forwarded rapidly.
Yep.
It gets really hard to see people who are grayer, older, more hunched over, sicker. You know, it's almost shell shock every time.
It is.
So yeah, just whenever you have a chance to hang out with the people that you love and that love you, do it because tomorrow's not guaranteed. Unfortunately, a lot of people are finding that out lately. So take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and let's stop being so goddamn nasty to each other. Billy's mom and dad was in the Vietnam War. Is that where they met? Because that'd be a pretty cool story. We had a daycare lady that was a Vietnam veteran. Well, you talk about grizzled.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh man,
I totally forgot about her being in. Yeah,
I wonder if she's still alive because she was old. It was 20 years ago.
Oh, that
George, why did you know what? That's another topic we're going to tackle. Thank you for saying that. Why do people look so much older back in time? Archie Bunker is the same age that Brad Pitt is.
Isn't that crazy?
Archie Bunker looks 70.
Well, they have that new anti-aging, moisturizer, and people take care of themselves and they don't smoke.
Some of it is the hair too.
Well, yeah, that too.
Just the hairstyle. Okay, here's just a little bit to, I guess, shock people. Barbara Billingsley, who was Beaver's mom. Beaver's mom was 26 in that show.
Good God.
26. Andy Griffith was between 32 and 35, looking 48. Fred Sanford. Granted, a little bit of that was makeup, but he was only 45. He was not a 68-year-old man. Grady himself was about Fred's age, but I don't think that was necessarily a bunch of makeup. I think Grady had a hard life.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, before we get to rambling about a whole bunch of other stuff, let's go ahead and get out of here. Again, next week, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about the creepy twins. We'll be talking about that hum that only a few people can hear and it makes them go crazy. Make sure you come back here Friday morning at 4 a.m. Pacific or 7 a.m. Eastern. You don't have to come at those times. That's just when they drop. So again, subscribe, like, comment, share, and we We'll see you Friday.